Previously, sesames turned into this stretchy mozzarella-like stuff. But when we pressed it, the tofu was kinda chickeny. What in the plant identity crisis is this? Hello friends, and not yet friends, welcome back to Mary's Test Kitchen, where since sesame wants to be cheese so bad, I'll give it another chance. Using up the last of our conventional and organic hulled white sesame seeds from last time, all 613 grams. Soak them overnight in the fridge. And after draining, we've got about 1 kilogram, that's like 2¼ pounds, of plumped up, fairly mild tasting sesame seeds with a slightly herbal flavor to them. No bitterness, cause remember, bitter seeds make bitter tofu. Anyways, these are ready to milk. As usual, I'm working in batches to fit in the blender, mixing with about double the seed volume in fresh water and blending for 30 seconds on high speed each time. Then into my trusty nut milk bag, and repeating with the second half of the seeds. Time to milk it. If this looks like a bit of physical effort, it is. But Elizabeth left a comment on the blog about how she tried using tahini to make sesame tofu. She blended tahini with water to make milk and then microwaved it. That's very smart. I really want to try that the next time I come across a good deal on tahini. So if you come up with clever hacks like this, I want to know. You better leave that in the comments. About 5 minutes later, we have just under 2.5 liters or 2/3 of a gallon of delicious sesame milk. It's a little nutty, it's definitely sesame, and a little herbal and refreshing. I have a theory to test, so I'm dividing up the milk into jars to let them rest. Do you remember our green pea foo experiment? When making tofu out of starchy milks, I always let them rest so the starch settles to the bottom and we can skim off the protein-rich milk for tofu making. But that time, the milk separated into 3 different layers. A watery layer, a more creamy opaque layer, on top of the starch layer. I divided the 2 portions and cooked them separately, which made 2 different shades of tofu, each with a slightly different texture and taste. So back to the sesame milk. After overnight in the fridge, we have 2 distinct layers in these jars. More watery on top, more opaque on the bottom. The tricky thing is how to separate them. Good thing I have extra syringes from my cat's medical supplies. Not gonna lie, this is taking a while, but maybe it'll be worth it. We'll find out when we cook up the first layer. Now we have the watery portions here and here, and the remaining creamy portions, which I'll consolidate. Looks like 1100 milliliters of creamy, but I didn't have my mic on and no notes, so I can't tell you how it tasted. I assume it was creamy, nutty, and delicious. And the watery portion, we have almost exactly the same. 1111 milliliters. That's gotta be lucky. Make a wish and leave it in the comment section. Time to cook. Stirring constantly with my spatula and having my laser thermometer ready to keep track of things. The last 2 times, the milk started to coagulate at about 170 degrees Fahrenheit. Sesame seeds are high in calcium and magnesium, which may account for sesame milk's self-coagulating properties. However, now we're boiling, and I don't see any curds forming. Do you? I'll keep it here a while anyways. Bubbling away, there's some foam building up on the sides, but no curds. You think I'm going to give up that easy? Hey, no. Let's try adding a coagulant. $167. Just gonna let it sit. Right, it's been about 10 minutes. Let's see. Absolutely nothing. Okay. Even though I'm pretty much convinced that there's no protein enough to curdle in this portion of the milk now, I'm gonna try with an acid. Half a tablespoon of vinegar, that's a teaspoon and a half, the usual amount effective for coagulating a whole 1200 milliliter batch of homemade soy milk. So it's gotta be good enough for this, right? It's been another 10 minutes. I really hasn't been any development. Right, it's official. Bitter vinegary water. Very not delicious. I'm telling you, it's a safe bet that the protein and fat is all contained in the second portion. This creamy, opaque sesame milk. Now I wonder how the much smaller water ratio will affect this cook. I'm starting to feel some scrapage at the bottom, so I have to be more diligent about stirring. Let's bring you in closer. 5 minutes in. You see some solids. We're at 172 Fahrenheit. Hot. Oh, now we have some very clear separation happening now, finally. We're at 180 degrees Fahrenheit. And yep, we're going to start to boil. A little bit of strangeness developing here, just a little bit though. Not at all like last time. What if we just keep boiling it? Alright, at this point I'm going to keep letting it boil for 10 more minutes. So it's been 7 minutes, so I'm going to add 10 minutes to that. Alright, we're developing some stringy stuff. Starting to like stick together. Look at this bubbly, shiny curd. After 10 minutes of boiling, it doesn't look like the whey is getting any more clear, so I'm calling it now. Let's get these curds drained. Check that out, that's pretty clean. That never happens on willet tofu. It's always at least a little bit burnt on. It's so bouncy. I'm finding this texture so intriguing. You don't commonly see this in the plant-based world. Funny though, it's different from last time, even though we used the exact same sesame seeds. It doesn't stretch, it breaks. And it feels like if tofu and mozzarella had a very confused child. Hot. I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna drain off the whey. A little taste test. Wow, that's bitter. Bitter and with an oily finish. It's like egg whites, but with this meaty thread through it. It has a little bit of bitterness to it and a distinct sesame flavor. I'm gonna try something a little different. I'm sorry I have no idea what the salt concentration of this brine is because I didn't keep notes. It's probably about 36 ounces of water with a couple tablespoons of salt. And I do know there was at least a tablespoon or 2 of vinegar. I mean, I could tell from the taste because every time I passed the fridge over the past few months, I was compelled to taste test them, or like just for a snack. They're like little bocconcini, lightly brined and mildly savory, but also with the sesame flavor, very rich and nutty. The bite, a little bit meatier than cheese actually, and not particularly tangy nor too salty either. I wish I had air fried some or cooked some up before I snacked them all away. I mean, remember when I fried up the original sesame tofu? That was pretty fabulous. But now that I'm wrapping up this video, I'm thinking that these would have been amazing. That said, I do have more white sesame seeds coming this Saturday, so I can repeat this a few more times. Figure out if it improves, if we keep in all the watery liquid before cooking, and all the little details to make sure the official recipe is easy to replicate at home. Plus maybe we'll add herbs or aromatics for some fun variation. I don't know. Let me know your ideas. In the meantime, if you try this yourself, let me know how it goes. Thank you so much for watching, my friends. What should we cheese next? I mean, besides the soybeans and black sesame that I already have in production, so please subscribe if you haven't already, and look forward to more dairy-free cheesy experiments. Bye for now.